Welcome back, webheads. What's up? We are back with another episode. It is me, Steven. Your other host here is
DeMarco.
And what story are you checking out today?
It's hard for me to pronounce, but the Surtur Saga.
The Surtur Saga. It sounds right.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
I don't know the right pronunciation. I'm trying to think back to Thor Ragnarok when they said it. So I'm pretty close.
Yeah, close enough. All right, let's go.
Hello.
So what have you been up to?
Well, it's been a while since we recorded. What,
Yeah, like 3 weeks.
3 weeks? Yeah. What have I been up to? It's hard. We were just having this conversation about how my memory's not the greatest.
Not at all.
I guess what I've been into, obviously work.
Mm-hmm.
I've been also doing my courses and learning how to program.
Mm-hmm. How's that going?
It's been pretty hard. I've been stuck on one course for like weeks.
Okay.
Just finished that. I saw a movie about a week ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Man, I've been trying to go see it. I've heard so many good things about it so far.
It's so good.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I don't think I can wait till that goes up on streaming.
Yeah, I mean, if you can just find, I think it's like 2 hours or something.
Mm-hmm.
If you can find a 2-hour gap in between work and you just
Yeah.
can go do it, I'd say go do it.
I think I might do that this week.
Yeah, it was really good.
I've heard so many good things about it.
Yeah, even I went with Danny and she loved it. She said it almost got her to tear up a few times.
I was gonna ask you, did either one of you cry?
Yeah, it got me to tear up a few times. Not like full on tears, but it was, there's some pulling some heartstrings in some of those parts.
Yeah, I'm gonna check that out for sure then.
Other than that, I don't think I've really been doing too much, which kind of sucks. I need to start living life to the fullest, you know?
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah.
Going to work, either, like you said, you're doing the school stuff, not tons of time in between.
No.
So then you got to find time after work, and then you do that, then you're tired because you go home, go to sleep, go to work again the next day, and then 2 days on the weekend sometimes isn't enough.
Yeah. Like, I've been trying to find time to at least go on, like, a walk or something. So, what I've been trying to do is I'll wake up, go to work. At work, I'll try to do my courses there.
Mm-hmm.
So I can come home, go, like, on at least a little stroll with Cuddy.
Yeah.
My dog, for those who don't know.
Shout out, Cuddy.
And then I'll try to go on the little stroll. Maybe if I have some reading to do, I'll try to fit the reading in there, or try to do more of the course so I can, fully grasp it.
Yeah.
But a lot of the time I just end up just kind of sitting on the bed watching TV, and then, because that's my alone time. So
yeah.
I got to try to take advantage of it. But I need to do something. I'm thinking, and this will be a big think, but if I can try to get myself to get up in the morning and go to the gym, if I can get 30 minutes into the gym a day, that'll definitely make me feel a lot better about just kind of lounging around after work and not really doing anything.
Yeah, and you're the I don't know what gym you were thinking about going to, but I know that Planet Fitness isn't too far from you either.
Yeah, Planet Fitness isn't far. There's a 24 up the hill in the shopping center where Safeway's at.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I used to go there, and then gym stuff, like I would go like once a month or something.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, if I can push myself to just get up and go to that gym, and
I've been really wanting to lose weight a lot lately. So I've been trying to. The hard part is just not snacking. Oh, what are you like? I'm just not doing anything at home. Me and Zara are just chilling, and it's like, let me go see what we have in the cabinet.
Yeah.
And then I snack on something, and then dinner rolls around, and then an hour after dinner, maybe I should just grab something from the fridge. And it's like, I'm just like forced. I'm not even like hungry.
Yeah.
I'm just grabbing something because it's there. So I've been, for the most part, I've been cutting out sugars and stuff like that, trying to just stay away from it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a little bit harder and just trying to find time to go to the gym.
Yeah.
Because I live so far out, so it's like I work in the Bay, and then on good days, which happens a couple times a week, I can get out back home at a decent time. But then there's other days where it's like I didn't finish my job in Alameda until 5:30. And I got to sit in traffic for an hour and a half. So now I'm not getting home until 7.
Yeah.
Got to get Zara dinner. Make sure we have dinner for me and Ferio. And then at that point, it's like 9.
I hate when people are like, "Oh, if you really want to do it, you'll make time."
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
That's great that you can do it,
Yeah.
but like everyone's gonna be different and like.
Yeah, it's great that your kids can make their breakfast and their dinner if they wanted to. And they can get themselves dressed and all that stuff. Cool. Yeah, that's great. But like, you don't know what I got going on.
Yeah.
Like you don't know how traffic works for me. You don't know how none of this shit works for me. Yeah, if I wanted to make time, I'm sure I could. But then I also end up with 3 hours of sleep at night.
Yeah.
And then from what I've been reading, like having like not like at least 7 or 8 hours of sleep is not going to do you any favors either.
Yeah.
So it's like
stress and like not sleeping is like something that fights against you when you're trying to lose weight.
Yeah, and I've finally gotten most of the stress out of my life. So now I try to get at least like 7 hours of sleep, which I do for the most part. But yeah, it's just the eating and exercising stuff. I've been fighting against myself a lot lately. I'll pick up some candy at the store when I drive around, and they're like, "Nah, I don't need that. Put it back." I haven't. This is like the first sugary drink I've had in a couple of days. So
yeah. My battle against sugar has not been as strong as I wanted it to. Yeah, I don't know. Like I think there's just some sugar addiction I have that I can't knock because I've tried to do like less sugar, you know, and it just like the more I don't have it, the more it's sitting in the back of my head. It's like just get this one thing, just do it.
Yeah, there's been a couple times where like I was able to go like a couple weeks, no sugary drinks, nothing, no candy, nothing. I did it for like a month and a half maybe. And I after like a couple of weeks of not doing it, then it's like, yeah, whatever, I don't care.
Yeah.
But then like those like a few days where it's like, well, I haven't had any candy for a little bit. Let me just grab one. I'll be fine.
Yeah.
And then the day after that, it's like, just have some.
Yeah, it goes away and then it comes back very slowly until it's back to where it was before.
And then I was like, all right, I'll grab some today. And then I see like a new flavor or something I haven't tried of like a drink. Oh, that sounds pretty good. Let me try that. And all of a sudden, I've had 1 bottle of water and like 2 Gatorades. Yeah. And it's like, fuck, man. This isn't working out. And then you got to start all over.
Yeah, it's not fun.
No.
But hopefully we can get there.
Yeah.
Because I bought this. I don't know. I'm sure you guys listening, we will get to the episode soon.
Yeah, we'll talk about comics and stuff.
Me and Danny went to this concert a few weeks ago. And I bought this really badass shirt that they had. And I was like super excited to wear it and everything. And it has like their logo, like print on the front and everything. And I put it on and I noticed it's a black shirt, but because the wording and everything is on there, the center, your eyes automatically go to the picture, which sits right on my stomach. So it just like, you see my gut just sticking out, and it's just like, that's not a good look. Like, I want people to look at the shirt, but I don't want them to notice like my gut. Yeah. So it's like, that's been kind of motivating me, or not motivating, but just more like telling me like I need to do something.
Yeah. Like I feel like, sometimes I feel like those girls that I see on TikTok, and they're like, why are you wearing like a 3X shirt when you wear like a medium? And it's like, it's because I have body dysmorphia. But it's like, I know I fit in one size shirt, but I know that sometimes that size is going to be just a little too tight. Yeah. And I'm like, nah, let me just get the next size up. Yeah. So now I just solely wear like a bigger size.
Also, PSA for anybody who is doing that. In my case, for work, I wear button-up shirts. Yeah. So they're larges. I fit a large. It may not be the most comfortable fit, but I fit it. To put the shirt on, I sometimes have to like suck in a little. Yeah. And button. That makes my muscles stay in one place all day. And so I come back with like back pain because I'm sucking in my stomach
For 8 hours a day.
8 hours a day, and then my shoulders and like my back start to hurt because
one thing leads to another. But I guess they've had enough of that.
yeah. Sorry for us complaining about our bodies.
So today we're gonna talk about the Surtur Saga.
Yes.
This is a Thor story.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming.
Yes. Let me pull up the. Well, I guess it's not really a description. This is sort of. It's not Ragnarok because Ragnarok had already happened prior to prior books. But it includes some characters that we've seen in the movie Ragnarok.
Okay.
So Surtur, the giant demon. Loki, obviously, is going to be in this. And for those who haven't seen the movies, let me try to do like some quick descriptions of some of these characters. So obviously, you know Thor, big, strong, blonde hair, has a hammer,
very handsome.
Very handsome. Loki is in this for a few issues. Skinny, slender, conniving,
Weasley.
Yeah. Who else do we have in here? We have Malekith, the Cursed. Not many, I don't think, would know him too vividly. But if you've seen the second Thor movie, he was the main villain in it. Just not a good interpretation of the villain. In the comic books, he has long, flowy blonde hair, tall, slender, snake-looking face.
Very different from the movie.
He's an elf, so he has like those sharp angles to it. Half of his face is black, the other half is blue. And he's a dark elf, so these are creatures that live in darkness in the comic books. Odin, so Thor's father, the All-Father, all omnipotent, all-powerful god. The Warriors 3, they're not in this too much. Balder the Brave, he is one of Asgard's most fearsome warriors and most devout, I would say, not advisor, but warrior to Odin.
Yeah.
He's like 100% Asgard and everything.
Yeah, I think he's been in a couple of stories.
Yeah.
So far.
But in previous issues, not in this story, Loki had killed him and sent him to Hell. And in Hell, he had seen all the, I guess, warriors and people that he's murdered. And luckily, he was brought back by Odin. But in him bringing back, he's had a change of heart. And now he's sort of a no violence sort of guy. So he's kind of just out of Asgard, just kind of recuperate from what happened.
Yeah, real quick. Imagine having the power to just bring somebody back from the dead. He's like, you sent my guy to hell? What the hell? Get back over here. He just brings him back.
I think we're going to see the consequences of those actions and how you maybe shouldn't do that.
It's never. In any movie or TV show that I've seen somebody come back from the dead, it's never been good.
Yeah. Pet Cemetery, anybody?
It's not good, guys.
All right. So we're going to start off with issue 344. It begins with Balder. So like I said, he's been struggling with the fact that he's seen all of these people die and these people that he's killed. But now he's back in the real world. He's gained a lot of weight and his hair is turned white. So now he's pretty much a shell of who he used to be. Like before, he used to be all for Asgard and all for, killing who has to die for Asgard. But now he's just like, what have I been doing my whole life? He's having a midlife crisis after he's died. So he's struggling with the fact that he was killed by Loki. And then Odin had kept him in like a half-death state. So when he brought him back, he was still dead, kind of, but magic, comic book magic. Which has led him to piling on the pounds, and he like I said, his hair's gotten white. So he's been hanging out with Queen Carnilla. We talked about her, I think, a few episodes back. She's a witch. She lives in the realm of like Asgard, but like not in Asgard.
Yeah.
She has a problem with Odin and like the way he handles everything.
Most people do.
And so he's been staying with her because they've also had like an on again, off again relationship. So he's crashing in her place.
Balder has?
Yeah. And so he's been there in exile from Asgard. And one of Odin's wolves, because he has wolves that he can just send after people. One of his wolves shows up, and anytime that wolf shows up, it's sent as sort of like a message for somebody like, hey, like get back over here. Odin needs you.
Yeah.
And so Balder hops on the wolf, heads back to Asgard, And Odin tells him, "Hey, I have a task for you, and something only you can do." And Balder just tells him, I don't want to kill anybody, so please don't make me do this. If it involves killing at any point, please don't make me do this.
Please.
And Odin's just like, "Listen, you're the man for the job.
I don't have anybody else to do this, man. I'm sorry." It's
You're
like when you try to call out, the manager's like, "Hey, we really need you here. I know you're sick, but..."
Which is kind of funny because he just sent a wolf to go pick up somebody. Why can't he just send the wolf to go send the message?
If that wolf can find me where I'm at, I don't think you need me to go find somebody else.
And so he tells him, he's like, "I need you to go find Loki and give him a message." and Balder is really confused because Loki had just killed him, and you had just brought me back, and now you need me to go talk to him.
Just go give him a message. Again, you could have sent the wolf for this.
Literally a letter. That's all it is.
Imagine you have to. This guy just killed you. Now you're back. You got brought back to life, and now you have to just go give him a letter. Hey, here. It's from your dad.
And so Odin's like, "Listen, you take this letter to him, you give it to him. It's the last thing I'll ask you to do. That's it.
Lies.
No violence, no nothing. Just give him the letter. I need him to see this." Yeah, so Balder makes his way to Loki's castle, and he finds that Loki's hanging out with Malekith. They're just chilling. On the way to the castle, Balder had been like attacked by like these demons and stuff and brought into the castle. So he's tied up and everything, and these demons are like ready to kill him. And Malekith and Loki are just sitting there taunting him, like, "Oh, look at you! Like, you used to be Asgard's greatest. You were, the one everyone was scared of, and now you're, fat, white hair, don't want to kill anybody. Like, you're just a sorry looking guy." And so Balder's like, "Please don't make me do this." These demons are just, they have pikes and swords pointed at them. They're ready to kill him. And Loki won't listen to him. He's just like, "Loki, I just need to give you this letter. Just take the letter and let me go." And then Loki just, whatever, and walks off. And he just like let the demons have at him. So they're about to kill him, and then he just gets like this Hulk strength and just like, "I'm not going out like this." So he grabs his sword, takes care of all the demons, and then finds Loki with Malekith again. And then he's just like, "There's one thing I asked of you.
Just take the letter.
Just take this letter and let me leave." And then Malekith leaves, and it's just him and Loki. And Loki keeps taunting him. And finally, Balder takes a swing at him with the sword and cuts his head off. And at this point, he's just like, "Now what do I do? I came back and said I'm not going to kill anybody. Now I killed the person who killed me. I'm just going to end my life."
You didn't even read the letter.
He really didn't. He takes the letter and just tosses it behind him. And then, so Balder breaks his vow of nonviolence and beheads Loki, with Malekith teleports away. When he leaves, Loki picks up his head and puts it back on his shoulders. So he really just did that to fuck with them. And then we cut back to Earth. At this point in time, Thor, he's decided to pick up a civilian identity, not Donald Blake, but he's going by Sigurd Jarlson. And essentially, it's just, he's taking the Superman route of wearing glasses, button-up shirt, and khakis. And he works at a construction site, and he got the job from Nick Fury. Called it in a favor because his cousin is the foreman at the construction site. So Thor works there, and he's also kind of falling for this girl named Melody, who he thinks Melody is just a normal human girl, but she's actually, what was her name? Asgardian Lorelei. So she's the sister to Enchantress. And so her whole plan is to basically get him to drink like this concoction she's made, to basically make Thor fall in love with her and do whatever she says.
Oh, so she knows that this guy's Thor. Yeah,
the identity's not fooling anybody. And I think I told you last time we recorded, because I read some issues before this. There was a Clark Kent cameo in one of the issues.
Yeah.
Like, Thor just bumps into him, and Clark Kent's like, "What the heck?" And Lois Lane just tells him, like, "Get up off the ground." But I think that cameo was in sort of just like a little nod to the fact that Thor is doing the same thing. Like, you have this big, strong, blonde-haired guy in a button-up shirt and glasses. Like, it's not fooling anybody.
Real quick, actually, I'm still on my quest to watch every animated show. I'm like 14 shows in right now, right? So I just started the Spider-Man from 1981, which is going to lead into Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. And in the first 2 episodes, they've already done like Superman, like nods to Superman. And then even at one point, Spider-Man was like, "Oh, I got to distract everybody so I can change into my outfit." And he can't find a way to distract everybody, so he finds a phone booth and he runs to it, and all of a sudden this guy walks out, and like this buff ass guy, he's wearing a button up shirt and he has glasses on, and the guy opens up the door and he just like stares at him for a second, and then he just walks off, and then Spider-Man was like, "That was kind of weird." I wonder what he was doing in the photo booth. Then he just goes in there and changes.
See, I wish we can have more of those, just like random crossovers and stuff.
Yeah.
All right. So that was issue 344. Going on to 345. This is where it gets good. Because at this point, we don't really know exactly what's happening. Odin sent Baldur to give the letter because he has a feeling something's amiss. He doesn't know that Malekith is with Loki. But later on, we find out that Odin had sent Malekith away like eons ago in like a prison, like a dark prison that he wasn't supposed to get out. And so now that he's out hanging out with Loki, which nobody knows, but that's going to be a sign that times are bad. And that letter was supposed to be for Loki to say, like, we need all hands on deck. Like, I have a feeling something bad's about to happen. And so 345 begins with Dr. Eric Willis. So Dr. Eric Willis, we know nothing about this guy. At first I was like, did I miss something from a previous issue? It's just a guy in his office. His assistant is out in the office doing her stuff. And we see that he calls her into a back room. So she goes back into the back room, and he pops out from behind the door and like locks her arms behind his back and then ties her up. And so he's like interrogating her, but he has a cheeseburger in his hand. And then he's like, "Oh, doesn't this look good?" And he starts to try to feed it to her, but she's like refusing to take it. So he forces her mouth open and makes her eat it, and then she explodes.
Hey, this cheeseburger looks real good, doesn't it, fatty? Open your mouth.
So she explodes like Squidward when he ate too many Krabby Patties. And then her scream gets heard from outside. So the police bust in, and they're like, "What's going on? Like, we heard screaming." And he's like, "I don't know what you guys are talking about. There's nobody here but me." Office. Yeah, this is just a normal doctor's office. And then the cops are like, "Well, there's this red dress sitting here and a pile of dust next to this chair. So what's this about?" And then the janitor comes in, and he's like, "Oh, that's I forgot the assistant's name, but that was the dress so-and-so was wearing. I didn't see her leave today." And the cops are like, "Well, there's only one exit out of this place, so what's going on, Doc?" And he's just like, "I don't know." So they take him in, and
they don't have any evidence here.
Yeah, they don't. Besides this red dress that's sitting there.
And you heard her scream. You didn't see anybody leave. There's no blood here. What are you taking him in on?
And then, so he's in jail. Another cop shows up he's in the pen. And she starts asking him all these questions. Like, "Oh, what are you up to?" And she starts getting kind of cryptic. And so she says, "If you don't tell us where it's at, we're going to find out eventually." He's like, "Well, you can try all you want. It's not going to happen." So it cuts to her in the precinct with the other cops, and she's giving them all cookies. It's like, "Oh, try the cookies. And all these cops are taking these cookies. And she comes back to him. She's like, "You might as well just eat one. We're going to get it out of you no matter what." And so he's like, "Well, I'm stuck in here. They're going to get me or they're not going to get me. There's really no way out of this." But he remembers he has a French fry in his pocket from earlier. So he
just in there, he feels the French fries. French fries.
That's exactly what he does. He's like, "What's this?" "Oh, fry from earlier." So he takes the fry, and he walks up to the cop who's at the bars, and he's pretending like he's going to get a cookie, but then he grabs her, pulls her against the bars, and slides the fry into her mouth, and she explodes.
The fuck kind of food is this guy making?
It's getting there. So, he escapes jail, but we find out that he is actually the guardian of what's called the Casket of Ancient Winters, which is it's like a little box, but it essentially holds all the power and winter of a millennia's past winters, if that makes sense. So think back millions of years ago and all the winters that have come and all the power and all the cold and all the frost and snow.
Just collecting it?
All collected into one little box. You know, that's millions of years of, time. But imagine taking all that and putting it into one box and releasing it.
A box.
Yeah. So that's pretty much what it is. So Dr. Eric Willis is actually the guardian of that. He's been the protector of it for hundreds of years, and it's allowed him to stay young and look young. So he's on the run, but the people that he's making explode are actually servants to Malekith. And so essentially what is happening is they're given what's called fairy food. I think that's pronunciation. It's spelled differently than fairy. But this food, the dark elf food, will essentially cause anybody who eats it to be under the control of Malekith. And so the cop, his assistant, all of them have been kind of keeping an eye on him because they knew it was him, but they were just waiting for the time to strike. But he struck first. Struck. So he struck first. And so like he knows they're looking for it now. And so he has to try to escape and get to the Casket of Ancient Winters before they can. And so he's on the run. All these goons are chasing after him through like this neighborhood. And then he thinks he's about to get caught again, but all of a sudden this car rolls up, this red convertible with this, beautiful woman in it. And she's like, get in. And he's just like, I got no other option, so let's go. He jumps in and, over the drive, he just starts feeling like, he's like, I don't know why, but I feel like I know you and I feel really close to you. And as the drive keeps going, he becomes more and more like enticed by this woman. And you can tell like it's not going well. And so while he was in jail, he set up something with his lawyer to where every day he has to reach out to his lawyer just to make sure like his lawyer knows that he's safe. He missed his call-in for that day. And so because he missed his call-in and because he's been alive for so long, the lawyer's like, all right, something's happening. And in that plan, if he doesn't reach out to his lawyer has to send a package or a letter to his son in New Jersey. And essentially the letter is saying, if you're getting this letter, I'm probably dead. You now have to step up and be the guardian of the Casket of Ancient Winters. And so his son, does the whole thing. He reads the letter, burns it, grabs the package that was still wrapped up and closed, opens it, and there's a gun. There's these bullets in there. The location of where he already knows where he has to go, but he knows it's his time to step up. We jump back to Dr. Willis and him and this woman. She's now asking about the casket and where it's at and everything. And they start kissing, and we find out that it's actually Malekith, disguised as the woman. He finds out where the casket is, but he kills Dr. Willis in the process. But before Malekith could get to the casket, his son, his name is Roger, has already made it to the location. And so he's grabbed it. He's on the run. Malekith gets there maybe 20 minutes later with Roger already gone, but he knows it's close. He can feel it. After Dr. Willis had disappeared, the lawyer also called Thor, or the Avengers Mansion, asking for Thor, because Thor knew of Dr. Eric Willis. And so essentially once he found out that he was gone, he started looking for the casket too, which led him to Roger. Balder has also exiled himself. Jumping back to Balder, real quick, he exiled himself from Asgard and is planning on killing himself. And that's where pretty much this story ends with that. So Thor is now looking for the casket. Roger has it. Malekith is looking. And we jump back to Balder and he's ready to kill himself. Now jumping on to 346. So I'm going to just read straight from So Thor locates Eric's son, Roger Willis, who has managed to locate the fabled Casket of Ancient Winters. On the 59th Street Bridge, the two of them fend off attacks from the freakish Malekith had sent like these hounds after them, but it's literally like a cloud of just these hellish like looking dog things. And so they're able to take care of some of them. Thor is obviously super strong, take care of them. Roger has a gun with silver lined bullets, and iron and not silver, but iron and steel are like poison to dark elves and those creatures. So he's able to hold his own for pretty much, but it's a gun. You only have so much. And so they're fighting on the bridge, and then we jump back to a bar, and Lorelai is basically or let me say Melody is letting all these men just kind of like fall over her and like try to like shoot their shot, but she's like, I already got somebody. Yeah, I'm just kind of here. Yeah, I'm just here to hear you guys just look stupid. And so jumping back to the bridge, Malekith uses, I don't know how he got it. So Malekith had, because they were at Melody's place. Yeah, it was weird. So after Melody is at the bar, she goes home. Thor shows up because he's like, I need to make sure that you're safe. But Malekith is there. And so he was there without Thor actually knowing he was there. He was just kind of watching. Okay. So he was listening to everything, but he saw that the concoction that she was making was already in the kitchen. And he knew just from comic book magic that it was some sort of like potion to, take control of him. Yeah. So he spiked Thor's drink pretty much and had him drink it so that he's less likely to go after him and more likely to just listen to Lorelai and become his little slave. Because in the end of it, she probably won't care what's going on and he'll be fine. Yeah. And that's just one less pawn out of the way from Malekith. So, but then, so he has him drink the mead or the concoction, but then he reveals himself and he takes Lorelai hostage. But with Thor sort of just like only enticed with her, that's his main focus, not really the casket. And so in all the commotion, Thor, he thinks Malekith took Melody hostage, but he doesn't really make it known. Thor thinks she's still there. So he's like making out with her, but it ends up being like a log. And Malekith is just watching him like make out with the log just to fuck with them.
He's just sitting there recording it.
So that angers Thor, and he heads to England with Roger because that's where Malekith is. They're like the entrance to their underground lair is in England. So they head to England with Roger because Roger has the casket with them. And cutting back to Asgard, Baldur's suicide attempt is interrupted when he sees this woman in the desert, and she's being attacked by this giant snake thing. And he's also being watched by someone else who's trying to kill him. So Baldur decides like, hey, I'm here to kill myself, but I gotta save this woman. She needs help. So he jumps into battle with this giant snake thing, and that's where the issue ends with him.
I'll kill myself after.
Yeah, pretty much. And then 347, Thor and Roger break into the Dark Elves like castle, and it's in Cotswolds, England. Taking the casket with them. Thor, his main, because he's still drinking the concoction, he is only after Lorelai or Melody. Mm-hmm. So he doesn't care about the casket or anything else. His main focus is that. Yeah. But he gets attacked by a dark elf, and they pretty much throw the dark elf and Thor into a volcano. And so he's pretty much out of commission. With Roger being the only person there, and he's really just a human. Malekith shoots him with his eye beam, which is magic. But luckily, Roger is a Vietnam vet, and he has a steel plate in his head. So at the last second, he turned his head down, which caused the beam to hit the steel, which is weak to dark magic. Yeah. So essentially, it lessened the effects of what it was, because he was trying to blind him. Because essentially, when they got there, Thor gave him this potion that when you pour it into your eyes, you can see dark elves. Because to the naked eye, you can't see them. Okay. So that potion helped him. And so Malekith was like, not only am I going to take that away from you, I'm going to take just your regular vision away from you. But luckily, Roger put his head down, and his steel plate took most of the blunt.
I fought in Vietnam.
And then so he's like, "Oh, my eyes, my eyes," and they just leave him there. They walk off, but then Roger pops his head back up. He was like, I can't see, but my vision isn't like destroyed. Like, luckily my steel plate saved the day." And so Roger charges through well, Malekith thinks Thor and Roger are done for, so he heads back to like this big like auditorium in the castle, and he is about to do his whole supervillain, monologue and everything, and open up the casket. So he's doing his thing, but Roger had climbed into like the catacombs and is like watching the whole thing, and he had one bullet left in his trusty pistol, and he's sitting there watching the whole thing. So he takes the shot, and the bullet misses the casket. I don't really know what he was aiming for, but he just like kind of grazes Malekith in the shoulder.
Yeah, Roger.
So the casket falls almost, but if it's like fragile, so if it falls, it does everything. It opens up. So, but luckily or unluckily, Malekith's like right hand man catches it, but he's like, okay, obviously that guy isn't dead. Like, you guys go find him. And in the meantime, Thor was still falling into this volcano, and Mjolnir was still up top, but he was falling for a long time, so it's a huge distance. So he finally wakes up because he's getting closer to the heat of the lava, and so he calls for Mjolnir, and luckily he catches him, and he heads back up to help Roger. Roger's already trying to book it out of there. He's just like, I want to go back to the States. My job here is done. I ran out of bullets. And
sorry, Dad.
Midway through, Thor reappears, and they decide to team up again and go after Malekith. So Thor, in all his anger, is able to take care of most of the Dark Elves. They get back to where Malekith is, where he's just chilling, and he sees Melody sitting there. And Thor, obviously in love with her, is like, "Oh, my love." So he goes to try to get her, but Roger knows it's not really her. It's really Malekith's like right-hand man in disguise. So before, I think his name is Wormwood. Before Wormwood is able to stab Thor, Roger bats him in the head, and then he's like, "That's not your real woman. That's a dark elf." And Thor's like, "Oh shit! Thanks for the catch."
Okay.
Malekith he's in shackles at this point because Thor knocked him out, but he wakes up and he's like, "I'm not letting you guys stop me now." So he grabs Roger's gun that has no bullets and just like tosses it at the casket, which breaks it, which causes all of winter to be unleashed. And so in this one, at the end of this one, or at least that's that part, jump back to Balder. He kills the giant snake thing and saves the woman, and she ends up being one of like the Norns. Remember in Hercules, the Disney one, how Hades was talking to like those three like witches, like they all shared that one eye. They're sort of like that. And so they show Balder his, I guess, like not the future, but like his string and how it travels through like and intertwines with all these other people and how important he is. And so they show him that, but it kind of tells him like, oh shit, like shit's about to go down. Like, Odin, we need to really speed up this process of getting the gang back together. And so he comes back to, and he's like, damn, I got a new lease on life. I have a purpose again. So he the guy who was trying to kill him, who was watching him previously, had seen him fight the snake in the desert and seen him just be like selfless, and he's like, damn, I'm trying to kill this guy. Like, this is a good guy. So Balder shows up again because essentially he saved the girl from the snake. She had teleported them away, and then within minutes Balder's coming back from a totally different direction just by himself, and this guy's like, what the hell? I just seen him.
I can't kill this.
And Balder has his horse with them, and he's riding past the guy, and then he's like, hey man, come with me. He just picks up this dude, and he's like, we gotta book it to Asgard. So this buddy cop movie is about to start, and these two are heading off to Asgard to go warn Odin. And yeah, that's fine. And then 348. Yeah, so they drop the preview, or back in England. They break the casket. It's unleashing all these winters. but that's part of the process for Surtur to come back. So essentially, Surtur released Malekith, put him on this whole path, and gave him the plan to get the casket, because the casket is what's going to open the portal to allow Surtur to come back in to the Nine Realms and pretty much destroy everything.
Okay.
And so, with the casket now open and the winter starting, Surtur can now send his demons into the Nine Realms to start like fucking shit up, and then he can make his entrance eventually, because he's been building this sword over like millennia, and this sword is purposely made and has been prophesized to destroy everything. So now that it's fully made, and the exit's about to be not an exit but an entrance, he's ready to go. The Ancient Winters are now on Earth. So 339 or 49, Thor and Roger returns to New York with Melody and an unconscious Malekith. He just has him over his shoulder. Thor returns to Asgard, where Odin tells him that Balder has now discovered that I can't pronounce this, but this is pretty much where Surtur lives. Muspelheim. So pretty much Odin tells them how when Odin was younger, him and his brothers were just explorers. They just wanted to see different lands and learn about the cultures and stuff like that. And they end up in the realm of Surtur and all his fire demons and everything. And they're honestly just like curious people. So they're like, we're just here to figure out what you guys are about and what you guys do here. But Surtur is just like, no, I'm gonna fuck you up.
Get the hell out of here.
But like they welcome them in with like phone call. Him and his brothers were just there, like nice, curious guys. But Surtur is just like, I'm gonna kill you. And so they attack them, and well, essentially before he attacks them, he's telling them about everything. And so Odin, like I said, it was prophesied that Surtur would destroy everything. And Odin's like, is it true that you plan on doing that? And he's like, yeah. He's like, I'm making this sword. I got this, the eternal fires. They can't be put out or anything. So yeah, I got everything I need.
It's like, yeah, I'm planning on killing everybody. Check this out. Just takes on a whole tour through the whole place.
It's what are those, his spirit board?
Yeah.
Just screaming people and death. And then so he's just like, yeah, I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna start with you three. And so he tries to like kill them. They're fighting him off, and then they're fighting the demons and everything, and they pull some like Voltron Megazord shit, and all three of them emerge into this giant being, and they're fighting Surtur with the sword. But then they go for a swing, and Surtur goes for a swing, and their swords collide, which causes an explosion. So all three of them become unseparated, and Surtur is like knocked out in the lava. So they're like, all right, this is our time to escape. So they start running out. But Odin's the first one to get out, and then they decide that they're going to stay and seal the entrance so that Surtur can't get out, but no one else can get in to allow this. So Odin's on the other side. They seal the entrance, and then just so you know that they're dead, all of their power gets transferred to Odin, which becomes the Odin power at that point. So that's how Odin becomes all powerful.
Crazy.
Yeah. I was like, damn, that kind of sucks. But luckily, as they were leaving, Odin was able to steal the eternal flame. So even if Surtur was able to build another sword, he doesn't have the flame to actually do it, which I think was in the movie too.
Yeah. And
so at this point, Odin's finished telling his story of what happened. He has Balder, he has the Warriors 3, Frigga, and I forgot someone else. And then he calls in Beta Ray Bill, because it's all hands on deck right now. And then we jump to issue 350. So Beta Ray Bill and Sif join the armies of Asgard, along with some assistance from Amora the Enchantress, Scourge the Conqueror, and then some others as they all prepare for the new Ragnarok. Odin remains in Asgard. Thor leads the troops down to Earth to confront Surtur when his fire demons descend into New York. Frigga takes the children of Asgard to an undisclosed location, and Balder returns to Karnella to ask for help. She's more hesitant on helping, just again because
she was a witch, right?
Yeah,
okay.
And because she doesn't like Odin. Yeah. Thor is in not Vegas, New York, and he's fighting he sees Surtur and brings the rain down on him to put his fire out. And in doing so, he creates a rainbow accidentally allowing Surtur to access the Rainbow Bridge and and Asgard. And then that's pretty much, as long as he destroys Asgard, that will allow him to destroy everything. Yeah. So essentially, Thor caused all of this to happen.
That's not even what I expected you to say.
And then the next issue, we're actually jumping to Avengers 249. So this one starts with Hercules. He's on some Caribbean beach at some resort, and all these women are thirsting over him, and all the dudes are on the side, just like, who the hell is this guy? Who the hell is this? We paid for this vacation. This guy just swam here, and is just on the beach eating everything, taking all the women.
You gotta be a little salty. Yeah. This man swam here. Nobody's even seen him until today.
And then, like, he's just sitting there with all these women, and it starts to snow. And everyone's like, what the hell? Like, it's not supposed to snow here. And Hercules is like, well, this is weird. I gotta go figure it out. So there's like a U.S. Navy carrier, like, out in the ocean. Mm-hmm. He just swims to it, and climbs on, and then flashes his Avengers card and is like, all right, get me to New York. So the captain is just like, yeah, no problem. So he throws him on a jet with some other pilot.
In a world of superheroes, if they were to be real, yeah, I think that we might need the superhero registration. Like, I kind of agree with you. Because they have too much power to just do whatever the hell they want.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
He literally just flashed his membership card and was like, you got a jet, right? Taxpayers will pay for me to fly, for you to fly me to New York.
I would swim, but it's just too far for me right now. I'm kind of tired. It's too cold.
So they're in New York and it's snowing there, and Hercules is like, hey, land the plane down there at Avengers Mansion. He's like, I can't just land the plane. This is a jet.
And that's a street. You guys live on a busy street.
And he's just like, well, how do I get down? So he hits the eject button and just like shoots him out. And cords on the parachute are all like tangled up, so he's just free falling. But luckily he lands on some demons and just he just lands on him. He's like, okay, and unbuckles himself and walks to Avengers Mansion. So he gets to Avengers Mansion and he tells the Avengers at the time, which was Scarlet Witch, Star Fox, Wasp, Vision. I think those are only 4. There's someone else there. Probably not. It's not important. But tells them essentially what's going on. Like, it just started snowing over there. It's snowing here. That's kind of weird, right? And then Thor shows up and he's like, yeah, it definitely is weird. Here's the lowdown of what's going on. He tells everybody what's going on. And then Vision's like, all right, let me try to get some help for us. And so he calls Alpha Flight and they're like, we're a Canadian super team. You think we're just going to fly to the United States? We got our own damn issues up here. He's like, even if we had the jurisdiction to do so, we're not doing it. No. And he tried calling the X-Men. They're not answering. I forgot. Of course. He called the West Coast Avengers and gets a voicemail. So it's really the last people to call is the Fantastic Four, and luckily they answer. Yeah. And so it's all out battle. Everybody's outside.
I think what's most troubling about everything you just said is that Hercules jumped out of that plane, landed on demons out front of Avengers Mansion, and then had to tell the Avengers that something was happening outside. like how clueless are you guys sitting in this building to not know that there's demons outside of your house? Yeah. You guys deserve to have everything revoked from you. Again.
So they're all fighting the demons outside. Fantastic Four show up. Minus the Thing and minus the Invisible Woman. Okay. So it's just She-Hulk, Mr. Fantastic, and Human Torch.
Also now they're Fantastic Five?
Well, technically the Thing is still on sabbatical. Still doing his own thing. So yeah, it's still just She-Hulk on there. But yeah, they're fighting it out, and the Vision tries to get all these different teams, but no one's coming. And that's pretty much it.
That was it?
That was it for that.
Oh, okay. I thought that was the end of the story.
No, we jumped. That was a tie-in.
Oh, okay.
We jump back to the main issues of Thor 351. So Thor returns to Asgard, leaving Beta Ray Bill in charge of the Asgardian forces on Earth. Balder makes a deal with Carnella. The Human Torch takes Roger Willis back to England to fix the broken casket of ancient winters. Frigga and the Asgardian kids run into a band of trolls. And Surtur knocks Heimdall off the Rainbow Bridge and shatters it. Thor arrives in time to rescue Heimdall. Surtur repels Thor's strongest attack with ease and then turns his attention to Asgard, only to find himself face to face with his oldest foe, Odin. So I'm just going to run through these now because I feel like I spent a lot of time in the beginning. 352. So Mr. Fantastic reverses the transmission of Surtur's warp gate in order to send the demon back to where they came from. The heroes follow them through and find themselves in the Sahara Desert. Odin and Surtur battle it out. Surtur summons the cold unleashed by the casket to defend himself, ending the unseasonal winters on Earth and trapping Odin in ice. In England, Roger Willis locates the pieces of the casket finally, and Surtur dips his Twilight Sword into the eternal flame. So now things are about to... So Loki shows back up, and Loki uses his powers of trickery to confuse... to confuse Surtur with an illusion of the eternal flame. Elsewhere, Volstag's daughter, Gunhild... I don't know. That one's always been hard. Saves the kids from the trolls. And on Earth, Carnella arrives and destroys a demon's portal, trapping them in the Sahara Desert. In England, Roger Willis puts the final piece of the casket of ancient winters in place, returning the deathly blizzard to it and freeing Odin on Asgard. Odin, Loki, Thor confront Surtur together. Thor knocks the Twilight Sword from Surtur's hand, and Odin grows to gigantic proportions to take Surtur hand to hand. He's like, I'm gonna fuck you up.
You hit my kid?
Thor just sitting there, just like, yeah, my dad's gonna fuck you up.
Yeah.
You're in for it now, bud.
Fuck him up, Dad.
And Loki just like, you're not my real dad.
I hate both of you guys.
Ordering his sons to knock them both over the ravine. So Odin's like, I can take them, but I can't take them for long. So just throw both of us into the abyss. Thor complies, essentially killing his father to save the 9 realms. The ravine is shut and Surtur and Odin are gone. And then the last issue, Loki lets slip his intention to take his place on Asgard's throne. Hela arrives to claim Odin for Hel, but Thor's rage changes her mind. Frigga senses the loss of her husband without a power source. The fire demons on Earth burn themselves out. Carnella teleports Balder back to Normheim, and the Asgardians remain trapped on Earth until the Rainbow Bridge can be repaired. So, sometime later, Loki drops in on Lorelei to win her to basically get her to join him, and then encouraging her to keep Thor busy while he tries to take over Asgard. Thor has decided to take some time away from the ruins of Asgard and falls prey to a sneak attack from Hela that leaves him buried under an avalanche of rock and snow. And then back on Earth, Fandel removes the final traces of Donald Blake from the minds of those who knew him. So no more Donald Blake, only Siegfried or whatever Thor's real name.
I don't know. Donald Blake was at Disneyland. I know it. That wasn't bad.
Yeah. It was good. Like I said, the art in the first 4 issues was really... Let me try to find it, because it's not like the 80s. The 80s were very... In terms of art, they had a very, simple palette, I would say. But these ones were, super good. They were, dark. They were shaded well. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Look at that.
Oh, shit. I've seen some other ones like this, and I can't tell if that's how it was drawn then, or if they had to redraw some of it.
I didn't think about that.
Because I've seen some other ones like this recently, where we read some stories, and it looks like too new, or a lot better than the rest of it all.
Yeah, because it looks like this. Like this panel, these panels here, like that looks dope. But if we go to, so we were looking at issue 344 right there. But going to issue, let's say 348. I don't know, even 348 kind of looks like that too. Whereas, like 350, I think that's where it starts. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look bad. It's just not as like,
Yeah.
it's just more flat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I can't tell if it's like, I'm gonna look that up because I can't tell if they redrew some of the stuff and recolored it, or if that's just what it looked like. Because I've seen some other ones like that.
Yeah,
I'll look that up. I'll let you guys know.
Just to kind of wrap up the show on this one, I would give this a house explosion today.
I said forget about it, cuz.
That was my bad. And there we go. 2 for a good measure. Yeah, it was pretty good. I'm gonna give it 1 too. Sorry, guys. It was quick. I mean, for it being 10 issues, yeah, it's got straight to the point on a lot of it, which I like. I hate when it's. I mean, we've talked about it a million times. Don't drag it out for 10 issues, and then you don't get to anything until like the 4th or 5th one.
Yeah,
and that was a whole year for people in the 80s.
Yeah,
like don't make me wait till June to till things pop up. So like, yeah, I like that it just got straight to the point,
and I like that the art helped me stick with it, because like visually just being able to look at something, because I mean we're reading these issues, they're not super long, they're like 20 pages.
Yeah,
but looking at my phone for that long,
it's a lot.
Yeah, it helps to have like good art to look at and like keep going. So yeah. The art definitely helped with.
It makes it, yeah, because like we said before, like there's been comic books that I just didn't even bother buying the next week.
Yeah,
because the artwork was that bad.
Yeah,
and this doing this podcast is a little bit different because we have to read it. But yeah, the artwork helps a lot.
Definitely.
But yeah, it was a good story. I liked it.
Me too.
Yeah. So I guess we'll just call it there.
Yeah.
Remember to you guys can give us ratings on Spotify now. I don't know if anybody knows that.
Oh yeah, I've seen that very recently.
Yeah, 1 to 5. You go any lower than 4, I'm gonna knock you out. I swear.
Yeah, please rate us. Spotify, Apple Music, Google Podcasts,
Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio. If you have friends that are into comic books or just Marvel in general, send this to them. Tell them to check it out. Yeah, thanks for listening this week. Thanks for coming back again. If this is your first time here, thanks for coming. Thanks for listening. We appreciate it. Hopefully you come back again next week.
It's a really weird episode to just jump in on.
It is. But it's the newest one, so
true.
Some people just hop in on the newest one. But if this is like in June and you just decide to start here, that is kind of weird. But either way, thanks. So we'll talk to you guys next week. Peace out.
Bye.
Bye.